What's going on, everybody? So earlier today I did a premiere for the swap MicroPool, and it ended up being a little bit long because I walked through like what swap was and some history about what's going on with them. So it ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. So I figured I would shorten it down, do a quick one on how to set up the MicroPool, and cover a couple of things that kind of tripped us up in that, tripped me up in that premiere. So let's check it out. All right, so if you want to know more about swap, check out the video that I did earlier today. It was a premiere. It was right here. It's 41 minutes, but the last part of it was about the actual MicroPool, and we had to do a little bit of troubleshooting and stuff. So just kind of wanted to go through it again a little quicker this time. So let's do it. So this video is going to assume that you already have an address. Swap address. You already have a rig that you want to point at the MicroPool, and in our case we're running hashrate OS and mining to the MicroPool. So basically there are two main components, two main files. You've got the swap daemon, and then you've got the actual executable for the pool. They have two versions. They have the portable, and then the one that kind of gets installed, right? This is the portable. I like running the portable one just so that nothing's installed on the machine. And the swap daemon, you get that from your actual wallet. So whenever you download the swap wallet and install it, you end up with something that looks like this. And from here, you're gonna grab the swap daemon, swapd.exe. Now in my case, I just copied it and put it in the folder with the MicroPool, but you could do like a shortcut. It doesn't matter where you run this from, as long as it's running before you launch the MicroPool. And you also want to make sure that you get this nice green synchronized OK, because what I've found is that if you don't have this, then it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to use the MicroPool. It won't talk with the rig, or the rig won't talk to it. So we experienced that in the premiere earlier today, where it says synchronized. It says you are now synchronized with the network, but it did not have this green synchronized OK on here, and it would not talk. So you can check that out in that video from earlier today if you want to see what I'm talking about. So all I did was I copied this, right-click copy, and then I go to where I have the pools. In this case, I just have a pools folder here, and I just right-clicked and paste. So now I've got my two files in here. Now where do you get this one from? Well, you go out to xwp.1, which is their website, xwp.1, and then you click on Get Started, and then Pools. And then you click on under MicroPool. It's version 1.4.0 now. So you click on latest release, and then right here, this is the one I downloaded, is the portable. The setup, I think it does some things with some other files and gives you some configuration, but this one stores the configuration also. So I don't know what the benefits or drawbacks of the setup versus portable. The portable one saves my settings. It's not like it does away with these settings in here, so it seems to work just fine that way. So you would download this, and then that is basically the two files that you need in order for the MicroPool to work, to function. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to close this. I'm all up and running and mining right now, so I'm going to close all this down. You can see it over here on hashrate OS. It's probably going to crash on me here. Not crash, but eventually it's going to say that it can't talk, and probably the miner is probably going to restart and all kinds of mess. So I'll probably just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and pause this. I think I have to go into it. Yeah, let's see here. Pause that. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So like I was saying, you've got the swap daemon and the portable, or the executable for the rig, or for the MicroPool. the first thing you want to do is execute the swap D, the swap daemon, but I wanted to go ahead, I'm going to go into my firewall settings and actually delete the 2 entries that you have to have for firewall. So this is like me getting rid of what we are going to configure in just a second. So you come in here, I think it's called they're all under swap. Yeah. All right, so see how I've got these swap entries in here. So I'm going to change settings. I'm going to remove both of these or all these, just so you can see what it'll probably look like on your Windows 10 system whenever you run it for the first time, right? All right, so here we go. So again, the first thing you have to have is a fully synchronized daemon, right? And it's got to be talking to the blockchain and fully synchronized. So we're going to double click on this. This is what it looks like whenever it first runs. Now, you see how, I don't know why it's, well, actually, I guess that makes sense. But it does come up with this, talking about Windows Defender Firewall has blocked it. I allow it on private and allow access. And now you'll have an entry in your firewall settings for swap D, right? So if we go back to our, did I close that? Yes, I did. If we go back to our firewall settings here, we will see a new entry, because remember I got rid of all of them. So now you have the swap D right here, and you can see where it points to by double clicking on it, right? So then we're going to cancel that. I'll just leave this open for now. And we see here that we do have the green, the nice green synchronized OK. So I'm pretty confident that our pool is actually going to work. So then we go back to the location of our executable for the MicroPool. And then we, hey, what's up, mining chamber? Then we double click on that to run that. And we're going to get basically the same thing. We're going to see, because we deleted that rule out of the firewall settings, it's going to ask again. So we're going to click allow access. In this case, because it already had these settings in here, they're already here, right? But if they weren't here, you would throw your wallet address up here, and the daemon or the host would be the local IP, or I think it would work with either. But if you do change it, I believe you have to let it through the firewall again. So for example, if you put in your actual IP address instead of the loopback IP like I have here, then you would actually have to go in there and modify it. And what I would do, just for simplicity, is just delete the MicroPool entry out of the firewall. Let's see here. Come over here, and what I would do if I did have to change it, or if you were changing it, is I would delete this entry right here, swap MicroPool. Just click on that and remove it, and then relaunch the MicroPool and let it re-add it itself. That way it does everything that it needs to. Windows does everything that it needs to allow it through the firewall. So you have a little bit of less problems that way, I believe, than trying to manually add it. Because I believe in the Premiere, I actually tried to manually add it, and it wasn't working. So I was probably doing something wrong, but yeah, it just was not seeming to work very well. All right, so we are not mining yet, right? Because we paused the miner. So I'm going to come back over here to hashrate OS. I'm going to start the miner. And if you want to see how to set up hashrate OS for the MicroPool, check out the video from earlier. You can skip ahead in there and skip all the what is swap if you're already familiar with that. But basically, you have to add a pool in here that looks like this for this MicroPool. And this is the IP of the system running the MicroPool, right? And then you also have to, because we allowed this through the firewall, then this is going to work as long as you use that port number. So it looks like this. And if you're not familiar with hashrate OS, I've got quite a few videos on that as well. So now we're mining. Everything looks good. And we are back at it. Now, I did let this run a little. You can see right here, one worker. You can see that there's shares. You can go to the worker tab and you can see the worker here, and whether or not you have actually won any blocks. Now, I was a little bit surprised. I let this run for, because you're given my hash rate at 32.7, yeah, 32.7. If you go to swap on what to mine, 32.7 should get at 780 watts, which is what it is at the wall. This rig, 6 GPUs. And my kilowatt hour cost is 11 cents, and the block reward is 2.41. It says here that every day, given this hash rate, I should earn about 54. And I let it run for maybe an hour or two, or an hour and a half, and I didn't hit any blocks. So I was a little bit taken aback, because I remember running this a while back, like maybe eight months ago, and I was hitting 24, 30 blocks every day. So I was a little bit shocked. I figured that I would get lucky. Maybe I'm just getting unlucky, but I was hoping to at least have one block here. But it really doesn't do anything other than tick this number up, and it shows you which block it is over here that you won. I think that it shows you which one, maybe like a transaction ID or something over here. I don't think it doesn't show. I don't think there's just like a 1 here, or maybe it just has a block and maybe a height or something. I don't remember what the actual display is here, but yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, that's really it. Yeah, so, and it would make sense, like this value down here, the 54, if my hash rate is 32, I should be hitting 20, basically 20 blocks a day. So that would roughly turn out to 1 per hour, right? That's the way I was working it out in my head anyway. And that's why I was kind of surprised that even after an hour and a half or 2 hours, I had no blocks found at all. So I'm sure that it would if I just let it rock like this, but I'm mining something else with this rig on a regular basis right now. So I'm not going to leave it on here for very long, in other words. Hey, what's up, Nefarious? So in the spirit of not letting my stream go on too long, that's going to be it, because that was as quick as I could probably make the MicroPool setup and everything. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So I'm going to give you back the rest of your day, or the rest of your night. At 10, we're going to switch over to Brandon Coin. I'll see you guys over there. So be sure you tune in to Brandon Coin at that time. I don't know if he's got a alert up here yet. Let's see. See, this is like proof that if he is putting alerts, it's not working for me anyway. So I'm going to paste that into the chat over here so y'all can hit him up as well. But he probably will be on there, at 10. Don't know for sure, but I think. So that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys next time. I'll probably do a premiere tomorrow at 12:30 again. It just depends on whether or not I can get the video out tonight or not. So stay savage, everybody.